Hello and welcome back to the podcast. If we're starting off being honest, we are on take 2 because we're so out of routine for reasons that shall be discussed that I didn't hit record on the audio, and that is my bad. But in my defense, we didn't have our normal routine today
at all.
We tried to do our pre-show ritual, get our Chipotle, get our Coke Zero, and we still, I think I said this last week, but I couldn't eat Chipotle after Mexico because it was reminding me of the food that I was eating that made me sick. And so I thought we could do it, and we couldn't do it yet.
I was almost even looking forward to it. However,
you were the reason that we even attempted because you texted me
and I should have never did that.
And
I'm so sorry I put that on you because it was my bad. It was, you had a bad, I had a bad. We should have held each other accountable. You should have said, Brittany, no, that's not a good idea. I should have said, Haley, my God.
My God, we've been doing this for over a year.
And the red light is not on because let me tell you, our little deck, I don't know what you call it. I should probably know a sound mixer. I stare at it. It's literally right in front of my fucking eyes. I'm so sorry, everyone, for the swearing. But
we're coming in hot today.
I'm coming in hot today. I've been trying to be better. That light was green. And I looked at it.
Green is not a go.
Green is not go. It's red now. We can confirm this. But we're just a little off.
It's okay.
It's okay. Fine. Because there are some good things that have happened this week.
There are? Oh, wait. Oh, the Lions.
The Lions.
We'll get to that. Wait. I thought you were going to say
the
merch. Because join the bonus Patreon content to see the first look at the Christmas merch. I didn't want to forget to say it because it's going to be good. Sneak peek. You can't see what.
Why did I just do that with my hand?
But anyways, you can't see what's in the bag unless you join the Patreon for a sneak peek. But we will be releasing soon what it is. We have a lot of stuff here actually to show.
Yeah, it's all right in front of us.
Items. So join that for that. And also, like Brittany was saying, positive news. If you couldn't tell, Lions won again.
They should know. I'm dressed like a full-on cheerleader right now. I've got my hat.
Well, I think we really influenced this game by going and purchasing multiple blue margaritas to watch it. And I think that really helped the situation.
It really brought the vibes up for everybody involved, myself included.
It's funny because I also said last week, I'm never drinking again. And I am now telling a story about drinking, and that was totally smooth and fun and fine.
We had a great time.
Suddenly I can't have Chipotle. But anyways,
tomatoes, potatoes. What are you going to do?
Not much.
Exactly.
Except continue to have blue margaritas on Sundays. And so we did that. But also it was crazy because in the fourth quarter, with 3 minutes left, the Lions only had a 1.2% chance of winning the game. And that was the chances of us being able to drink again, and we did. And so also...
So what we can say is the theme of this week is resilience.
We can do it.
Perseverance.
Persevere and you shall achieve. They had a 1.2% chance of winning the game in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. They do it. Now we're 8-2. This is the first time we've been 8-2 in 61 years. In my parents' lifetime, in my lifetime, in your lifetime,
my parents' lifetime,
the
never.
First time. It also means that now, since their last record at the end of the season was 8-2, and now their first record is 8-2, they're now 16-20 for their last games. They've won 16 out of 20 of their last games.
Because they are superstars. They are America's team.
In the words of Evan, they're the real deal.
We are the real deal. I had to leave the restaurant before the game was over, and I was...
You fake fan.
I mean, I was watching it on my phone.
Dan Campbell would be disappointed, which, if you're watching this, you see that Brittany has a literal...
I thought you meant Dan Campbell. I was like, if Dan Campbell watched this...
Oh, my God.
I would pass away.
Brittany has a Dan Campbell fangirl shirt on.
If you're not a Dan Campbell fangirl, then who are you and what are you doing with your life? Because That man.
I'm scared where this is going.
He's perfect.
Yeah, we were very thrilled to be a part of
it. We were.
Also this past weekend though.
we were a part of it.
Yeah, we were a part of it. We
were a part of the win.
By what we did.
Let me say something. We've won I think the Lions have won 100% of the games that we have watched together since they started winning as of the first game of the season that they won.
That's
anytime
facts.
that we have sat next to each other and watched that game with our eyeballs.
Even last season, at the end of last season.
Even at the end of last season. So since whatever that day was, we will remain together for games moving forward for the sake of the Lions.
Okay.
That was crazy.
Keep that in mind. Also this weekend, lots of things were going on this weekend.
It was a busy weekend for no good reason.
I was very disappointed, I have to be honest. Evan actually went hunting and went out of town to go hunting. I'm like, sir, how are you physically capable of leaving the city again? But I was very disappointed because I just wanted to sit and rot, and that didn't happen. But
me too.
I had a Friendsgiving on Friday, which we'll get into. But on the way there, I talked about this on Instagram, TikTok, because I've said it before on here. I always somehow end up getting in situations where I'm saving other people's dogs.
I think it's your life calling. I think that's why you're on the earth, is to save dogs. Because why else would there be this kind of...
I can't handle it.
Repetitive theme. I know you can handle it, but it's your calling. So sometimes your calling, it feels like it is a lot on your shoulders, but it's just why you're here.
Genuinely, the pressure is too great, and I fail under pressure. And so I don't like it, and I want to pass it to someone else. But so Friday, I'm driving to Friendsgiving. 2 things happened this weekend. And I see a dog on the side of the road, no leash, no owner. I freak out because I'm like, oh my God, it's about to run. Pull over, whatever, do U-turn, go in the thing. It was an older person. Dog's ended up being fine. And same thing Saturday, dogs locked in a car, which some people were commenting on some people were commenting on my TikTok being like, it was not that hot in Michigan.
No, the sun was beaming down to the earth.
It says on Google, because I Googled it, after 5 minutes in a car between 30 and 70 degrees, it is considered animal abuse.
So
and I sat in my car next to the dog for 30 minutes, and I don't know how long they were in there before that. And I was getting hot in my car, and I had the air on. I had to take my jacket off because of the sun beating on the car.
And let me say another thing, because, you Googled that. You found that fact, and this is something that we haven't said in a really long time, but truth is truth. And that's the truth.
It's too hot for the dog in the car. But yeah, so I got involved in some situations. And the thing was, in both situations, I really wanted to lecture the owners in every situation I've been in.
It's hard to bite your tongue in those kinds of situations.
I didn't, because I didn't want to get in an altercation. We had enough
altercation. We're putting that behind us. We are done with altercations for the rest of 2023. Thank you very much.
Yep.
But speaking of Mexico, because I think there's one more altercation, one more story we didn't tell. And I alluded to this when I commented on your TikTok, is you not only save dogs, but you save birds.
Which is crazy because I hate birds.
You literally, that's your worst enemy, is a bird.
It was actually so funny. I told Birdie, I'm like, I wish you would have got this on video, because it was literally like Snow White. I don't know what I thought I was doing. But
I was shocked because I know you hate birds. You were coming unglued at the table.
I couldn't imagine, because I'll tell another story after this, but we were sitting at breakfast, and it was an inside place, but since there was a patio and workers kept coming in and out, a bird came inside and was trapped inside. And I was watching the bird,
and it was
try to escape, and it was panicked. It didn't know how to get out. And every time it would try to fly to an open door, the door would close. And I'm like, oh my God, someone needs to open the door for this bird. And the funny thing is about it, I don't know the level of IQ that birds actually possess.
Who's to say, really?
I really had high standards for this bird at this point. I was like, I will open the door for it, and it will know that
It
I'm
will
opening
be guided
the door
out
for it.
peacefully.
You guys, the way that it actually happened like that, I got up, opened the door with no context, and I swear to God, within 1 second, the bird just flew out the door, and it knew. And I spoke with it telepathically.
You're gonna cry.
And I was so
You knew.
I was so happy that it worked out, and the way that how quickly it worked out. I realistically in my head, I thought like, okay, if I get up and I hold this door open, like people are outside there eating, so they see me holding this door open, wondering like, who am I holding the door open for? And no one's coming out. And it did hit me at one point in time, like I could stand here for a while, and it could be pretty embarrassing. But
like if the bird didn't know what to do, if you couldn't scoot it along.
No, and then my also biggest fear at that time was like, what if I'm holding it open, the bird like flies into me? And so that's why I kept telling Evan to do it, but Evan was like, dude, just eat your breakfast, mind your business, bro.
You really contemplated the pros and cons of the situation before going into it.
And I saved it. No, but I was gonna say I have witnessed a lot of also tragedies with birds. And I did save a bird that flew into the window of my house.
That you did.
But it's still very traumatic to witness.
I feel like those birds still do that by your house.
Perfect. We're just drawing bad energy or something.
I mean,
maybe that's why it's a punishment for something. Like, what I deal with animals. I don't know.
You are Snow White, I guess. The animals are drawn to you.
Well, let's change that because I can't handle it mentally. But also, on another note, I saw this past weekend, which I'm sharing to also hopefully save some dogs. There's a dog respiratory illness going around. It started in Oregon. More than 200 cases have been reported there since mid-August, but now it's starting to be reported in Colorado, Illinois, New Hampshire. Just getting kind of close to us.
I don't like it.
And basically it presents at first as like a kennel cough, which has been around for a long time. If you have a pet, like, you know that's a thing. And that's why you get like vaccines and stuff. But when it's that season, typically you are supposed to bring your dogs around other dogs less and all that. And that's basically what they're saying to do to prevent this is try not to have your dog with a large group of other dogs. Don't share water bowls. But also if you as a person come in contact with a sick dog, to like wash your hands, not touch your dog, maybe change your clothes because it can be transmitted that way. You know, the groomers, all that. And it is it's not the same thing as kennel cough, so they don't really know how to treat it. And a few dogs have passed away from it. So they're just saying to be really careful and like look out for any warning signs and to take your dog to the vet immediately if you think your dog might have it. Thankfully we don't really bring our dogs around.
Our dogs don't really interact with other dogs, but they do go to the vet and the groomers, I feel like, pretty regularly. So
yeah, they're saying if you can groom your dogs at home, do that.
Oh, not with Corona, man.
Why? Because she's
evil. She is evil. She's been her temper's been kind of out of control lately.
Yeah, I think I figured that when you were walking out of the door last week to come
I was on
to
the phone
studio
with you.
and you were like, stop. I don't even know what she was doing.
She charges at me anytime she gets like wind that I'm leaving the home. I need to stop saying bye so loud to people because I will go try to walk out the front door and she will charge her whole little body at the front door. And she doesn't bite, but she will like try to grab at the back of your sweatpants and drag you back into the
And
home.
what if you don't have sweatpants on?
Then she won't do it. She's smart.
Yeah.
She's a smart dog. And she only does it to people that she loves, which isn't very many people. So you don't have to be concerned.
She has done it to me.
I guess she loves you. I don't know.
I was terrified.
I don't know what to tell you. She's not a good girl, and that's.
Well, thankfully she won't be around other dogs either.
No,
but yeah, so that's going around. Look out for that. Just to let the people know. But also on a positive note regarding animals, Chewy is doing a Christmas list this year. So basically, if you go to b.chewy.com/chewy-claus, you can submit Chewy Claus. You can submit your pet's Christmas wish list for them. And Chewy's going to pick like random people and fulfill the wish list for the pets.
Rona needs a wish list.
But even if they don't end up getting picked for the wish list, every letter sent to Chewy, they'll donate a pound of pet food and supplies for charities in need. I don't know if they like have done this before, but it's been going around this year. And I'm like, that's such a good idea. Also, just can you imagine like giving your dog,
a wish list?
I can't give my dogs Christmas gifts anymore because I tried it in the past.
What do you mean?
Like I would like wrap up a toy and stuff and let them open it, but they would get jealous of each other's toys
and then try to take them.
Yeah, so I stopped doing it. But
I get them Christmas gifts.
Yeah, I have to open them and just hand them.
Yeah, and I'm not allowed to get them treats either.
No
it can only be toys.
Today's episode is brought to you by Uncommon Goods. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's officially time to kickstart your holiday shopping. But no need to panic. Uncommon Goods is here to make your holiday shopping stress-free, and we got you 15% off your next gift with our discount code, so you can start checking off your list at a discounted price. Uncommon Goods has something unique for everyone on your list. That's why I love shopping on their site. A few of my favorite gifts that I mentioned before were some customizable items, like handwritten note blankets, still wanting one of these for myself, cough, cough, personalized family recipe books, and giving the gift of virtual experiences, like cooking classes or mixology classes. I would totally get one of these for my sisters or friends. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S., so you can gift things that are meaningful and out of the ordinary. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $2.5 million to date. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/shady. That's uncommongoods.com/shady for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Thank you to Uncommon Goods for sponsoring today's episode. Well, by the way, another warning for the animal lovers. Do not feed your animals over the holidays people food, because that is the biggest thing that vets see during the holidays is pancreatitis in their animals from them getting people food. So don't feed your dogs.
Don't do
or
it.
any animals people food. Okay, moving on though, speaking of food and Friendsgiving. So we went to Friendsgiving Friday. I went.
You said we, but
I meant like
you went, you attended one. I understand. One. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny because usually I find myself hosting things.
9 times out of 10, probably.
9 times out of 10. But our friend wanted to do it, and she was like, you know what, though? But, like, I don't really cook. So she went to Costco for everything. And it just really got me thinking. First of all, every single thing was delicious. We got, like, chicken pot pie, obviously desserts, like pies, cookies, mashed potatoes, everything. And obviously, Costco's in bulk, so whatever. But it was all so delicious, and like I need to know who the chefs are for Costco.
That's a really good question, because I mean, there's a lot of Costco's in this world, so they must have a lot of chefs.
But it also got me thinking. So we were all talking about how we don't necessarily have Costco memberships,
but you know
someone who has. And I feel like that's a reoccurring thing with our generation specifically.
With all kinds of memberships.
Yes. But specifically, yeah, Costco, like it just makes you, and I think this is why I've avoided it. I think it really is one of those things that you're an adult if you have that.
Yeah, there's
no denying.
That's like, not even like, oh, I'm adult, like that you're a full-fledged about to pop out a child or two adult. Like you are mature. You are polished, you have your life together, and you're going to Costco.
It's just the most adult of adult memberships. And there are memberships that like are semi-adult. That's one of the ones that I think puts you...
That's like top tier adult.
Yeah. And then another one that we just recently talked about, season tickets to sporting events.
That is another very mature. I wouldn't argue as mature as a Costco membership. I feel like it's a tier below in the adult rankings.
I agree. But for some, I mean, I guess this makes sense then, but I would definitely see myself getting one of those before I got a Costco membership.
I would say the same.
which
I have
priorities.
I have suggested Lion season tickets in the past, but we've never followed through with such a thing. Probably because we weren't ready for that kind of adult commitment yet.
It's too much of a commitment, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, that's a lot of pre-planning.
There's a lot of memberships that make you an adult. Another one, TSA pre-check.
I've heard good things.
If you have TSA pre-check, I feel like you are the adult of the adult. You have your life together. You've got places to go. You've got people to see, and you don't have time to wait around.
Yeah, no, I picture anyone with TSA pre-check, they are living their absolute best life. Their inbox is constantly zeroed out. They have no clutter in their email inbox. Their sock drawer is clean, and they are...
Are you describing yourself?
No, neither. I mean, my sock drawer has been hit or miss this year, guys. It's been bad, but has been worse. My inbox, it's pretty zeroed out. I do stay on top of my emails, but
that's crazy. I feel like another one that is an adult thing is a specialized studio workout membership. So like bar, Pilates, yoga, not just a gym because I feel like it is an adult thing to have a gym membership that you mostly don't use.
That's very adult.
But a specialized studio membership is, again, like, you just got your shit together if you've got that.
It is, and I can back that up with an example, me. So I had a bar membership. I still go now and again, but when I was going and I was living my best, most consistent fitness life, I was going at 5 a.m. and if it was a picture of like circle the thing that does not belong, it would be me because I was clearly an outlier. Was everyone great? Really inclusive?
Because you were the youngest one.
I was by far the youngest one. Everyone else was talking about their kids and their 5th grade graduations and stuff like that. Like they had kids. They did not just have tiny babies.
I feel like that was similar for me too, because I had a bar membership when I was in college, like my last few years of college. And even though it was by a college, there was some like college students, you're going to get that.
Right.
But it was a lot of older women as well. And I think it's because it's just a very mature thing to do. I was not that good at, not bar itself, but the commitment of having to go to class at the specific time. Like, I know that helps a lot of people. But I think for me, it's the opposite.
You didn't like it?
No, because when I feel like I have to do something, I get this like pressure and anxiety about it.
Like, I know a good example of this. Like when you're told when you're younger, you have to clean your room. But now that you've been told you have to clean your room, even if you really kind of were thinking about cleaning your room, you're like, I don't know if I necessarily want to do this anymore because now I'm being told. But if you wouldn't have told me I was going to clean my room anyways because I wanted to do it.
Yeah. Like,
you know what I mean?
For me, it's reverse psychology for some reason. And I think a lot of people, it's not like that. A lot of people like the accountability.
I loved it when I was fully virtual for work. And now that I'm in person, some days virtual, it's harder because I can't make it into
like
a
schedule, so it's not a routine.
Yeah. It gets tough because then you feel all over the place and your life feels out of control and we're working on it.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I've never really, after college, I did not have a routine at all because I don't know, just with what I do, like every day is different. So I can't really plan for what a schedule is going to look like. And it's a blessing in that way. But I know like a lot of people would not like it because you can't be in a routine really.
Right.
I mean, if I got up at like the ass crack of dawn every day, yes, I could work out, but that's not who I am to my core.
I saw a TikTok where it was saying something along the lines of if you're not an early bird, I'm probably going to say this so dramatically and it's not as dramatic as I'm going to say like chemically, like with your brain and your body, like it may be worse for you to force yourself to get up that early to go work out. And it's actually not as good for you as it seems. Like you would think like, oh, waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning to go work out, like that's great for everyone if anyone can do
good,
that.
But it's not.
No, it's not universally good.
Well, they say a lot of things like that, and it's crazy that women don't learn this until we almost have to seek it out ourselves. But how much hormones and balancing our hormones influences our life
cycle?
Yes, like everything we do.
No, I will die on this ground of the 40-hour work week and like the 9 to 5 routine for, I mean, I know it's not even 9 to 5 anymore. It's like 8 to 5 or 9 to 6. That was based around like male biology and like how their body functions because of the way that their cycle works as humans. But for women, it's very different. And if the work schedule was made around like how our body functions, which it doesn't, and hopefully it might never, that's just life, I guess. I wish it wasn't that way. But sometimes I see the little TikToks of them being like, you would actually work for like 4 days straight, and then you would have like a couple of days of like no meetings, and then like this and that. And I'm like, that makes sense in my brain because I feel like that's how I would function.
Yeah. No, it's just crazy to think like
no one taught us that.
Yeah, no one taught us anything
and
about
we took health classes and they didn't teach us any of that.
Well, like the first thing that happens when you start having like hormonal imbalances and you're going through like being a teenager, the first thing they do is be like, oh, here, take birth control and like fix it.
Yeah. Yep.
And no, then they don't teach you why it's happening or like what you could do as an alternative to balance yourself out or like
the phases of your cycle. Yes. Because I've even seen like some people talk online about like not cycle syncing. I don't know if that's what it's called, but there's like certain exercises that are best for you. That are best for you. There's certain foods that are best for you. Why the fuck did no one teach us that?
I don't know. I think about that all the time. Obviously, I don't know everything about it now, but I do try to research it because it's just, I don't know.
I look it up. That honestly might be my Roman Empire because I constantly look it up because I feel like if they would have taught us that in like 5th or 6th grade, I probably would have been pretty ingrained by now. But even now, it's like, it's my body and I know that those phases are happening, but I'm like, still trying to figure out like, okay, what's going on right now and what should I be eating? And not that I completely follow by that, but it's definitely a wild world.
That's part of being an adult, I guess, learning all those things.
I feel like some doctors are trying to be a little bit more progressive, but we're definitely as a society could do better, I feel like.
Agreed. That a very adult conversation to
have. That's wild. Look at us being mature.
But also, speaking of, this list. This is how it all started. This list of memberships.
Oh yes, we were almost through the whole list.
Memberships that make you an adult. Another thing, any food or vitamin subscription service.
Adult. I have only ever had
green flag. Adult.
It is a green flag. One of like those Amazon like monthly things. You know how like you can be like, oh, send me my like Tide Pod detergent every 3 weeks. I haven't done that yet because I mean I'm not an adult.
When you're on Amazon, they'll say like subscribe and save.
Yes, I did subscribe and save, and it was for Celsius.
That's questionable as an adult move, but kind of. I think if you can make a commitment like that, if you can make a commitment to a once a monthly thing like that,
it means my frontal lobe is fully developed.
That's crazy.
I talk about that a lot because I really see a difference in my life pre and post frontal lobe development.
25.
Like, I can't believe how serious everyone was about that. Like, it's so real.
I know, but it makes me nervous for like having kids and thinking about trying to have an actual conversation with a teenage child at this point. Like, I can't imagine not being so frustrated. And I understand why parents get so frustrated with teenagers because there's so much logic and like you just know they can't see it. Yeah. You're like, please.
No, I had a friend at work that just told me literally today at lunch, she was like, oh no, I cannot talk to middle school kids like for more than 5 seconds. She was like, I just don't want to interact with them. And I was like, that's crazy. She was like, I will not talk to people unless their frontal lobe is fully developed. I was like, you're joking.
That's one standard to have. Yeah, I give teachers so much credit.
Yeah, for having to speak and interact with
just like
children every day.
Just doing that every day, knowing that like you're teaching them stuff, but they're not totally gonna get it until they're 25.
I wonder what life would be like if you'd like, I'm just gonna stop.
What?
People do go to school after their frontal lobe develops. So like if I went to like, I just feel like I'd be so much more invested in learning like content we learned in like 6th grade, for example, like sitting in history class. I feel like I would be way more attentive and way more engaged and interested as a full-fledged adult right now. I don't know why I said full-fledged adult. That was a bit of a exaggeration. Than when I was in 6th grade. There was no way I was retaining all of that.
No, and I think most of it is kind of frustrating to look back in school knowing that you were really just retaining the information for the moment and learning how to basically memorize things.
To take a test. I also hate that.
And that's pretty much everything I did. And it makes me so frustrated, especially even in college, a lot of classes that I took, it was for memorization. And I just really wish that it wasn't built that way and things were more hands-on than theoretical, because you don't really grasp concepts that way.
No, that's why I did really good in all of my event management classes, because majority were hands-on in projects, and they weren't like projects where we were like writing a paper. We were doing different
scheduling things and like planning an event.
Yeah, you were planning an event. Like one of my classes, it was a tourism class for event management, and we literally had a client and planned an actual vacation that they might be going on. And like that was cool, and I learned a lot from it because that was real life, and I wasn't just trying to memorize something. I was trying to do something and learn something.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that concludes our little snippet of
life.
Our life, yeah. But a lot has been going on and just everything. We didn't talk about anything last week in pop culture because we had our own shady stuff. And now I think we've got a bit of stuff to catch up on here. So this may be a long episode, but let's start with Vegas because they've got a few things going on. They've had the Sphere that's been kind of a mess. And then they had F1. That's also been kind of a mess. So first of all, the Sphere in Vegas is supposedly losing a lot of money, which is kind of sad because I really was looking forward. I want to go at some point.
Seems unreal.
Which is wild because I don't really I was not a Vegas gal.
No, we have said in the past, we're like, I don't know if we'll ever go to Vegas in our adulthood. It seems a little intimidating.
I would go just for this.
For the Sphere?
I just want to see it.
I think the Sphere would be a really cool experience.
Hopefully it's still around.
I think I would like that more than going to any club in Vegas is going to the Sphere.
I agree. Hopefully it's still around though, because the Sphere has cost more than $2 billion to construct. And apparently this last quarter, the first quarter of its operation, it lost $100 million after the CFO just resigned as well. But they are making money, and I think it'll be fine, and I think they'll turn around because they're making money off of putting ads on the outside of the Sphere.
I feel like they do more of that than anything because it's essentially a concert events venue, right?
Yeah. And so they made $4.1 million in event revenue, and 2.6, almost more than half of the money that they've made was actually from advertising and licensing on the outside of the Sphere.
I mean, you can't miss it. That Sphere is, I feel as if it's iconic.
Yeah. Well, it was funny though. They chose to start with they're going to be doing residencies there. Is the rumor, and the first people that had actually booked multiple events there was U2, which it was kind of like a weird thing because it was like U2 who was forced onto our iPhones all those years back. And yes, I don't know much about them
other than them being forced onto our phones.
Yeah, but apparently they had booked out these shows and had really cool shows there. So it's going to be interesting to see how artists use the Sphere in the creative vision of the show.
They need to get DJs in that bitch.
Yeah, I agree. They probably have some lined up, I'm assuming.
I think that'd be insane to see a set there. A DJ set would be cool.
They're going to start using it for other events besides music, too, because the UFC just confirmed that they have booked the Sphere for an event coming up. So they'll be doing like a fighting event.
I don't know. In my mind, it kind of reminds me of like a planetarium. Like it seems really cool, but also it kind of freaks me out. I feel like the seats go up. Then this is just for me seeing it. I feel like they go up straight up. What are you gonna say? Like an IMAX? Hunger Games. Stop it right now.
It's the sky in the Hunger Games.
It is kind of like the sky in the Hunger Games, but I feel like there's the stage up front is really small and it's on like the ground level. And how I picture it is that everybody basically walks in and you could basically walk onto the stage if you wanted to, and then they go upstairs. And I don't think that's how it really is.
You're just making this up?
It's making me feel more claustrophobic the more I talk about it. I need to Google what it looks like so I can stop freaking myself out.
I don't think, I could see why you would think that, but really you have to think about any event venue that we go to. It's the same thing.
No,
it's just not thrown in your face because the ceiling is not thrown in your face in most event spaces, but in this one, since they use it, you're thinking about it. Yeah.
It's less scary now that I look at it like this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a GA floor that people could be on.
Yeah. I think it's cool. Well, it's definitely going to draw people to Vegas, similar to what they thought F1 was going to do for Vegas. So they kind of had a rough start, though. So F1 was coming to Vegas, and people were already unhappy because they cut down all the trees that were in front of the Bellagio so that people could view the
They just went out there and cut down trees.
Yeah, and apparently these are very iconic trees for Vegas, so people were already not happy about that.
I mean, that just feels so unnecessary to cut down those kinds of trees. I'll cut myself off.
And then people were also not happy because when ticket prices came out, they were starting at like $2,000, and people were saying, oh, everything's going to be sold out. Hotels were raising their prices 200-300%.
I heard about that.
And then now when it came down to it, because it just happened this past weekend, they actually ended up dropping the ticket prices to like 60% of what they originally were. And there were rumors, which I don't know how true it was, but actors were getting casting calls to be actors for fans in the audience
because they weren't
selling enough tickets. But then as the actual thing started, so there was all this negativity around it before it even began. As it actually started, day one, they're starting their practice lap. Within 8 minutes, somebody's car gets ruined. The Ferrari car gets ruined within 8 minutes of the first practice lap because a drain cover was left off of a drain. And these are the racetrack is on Vegas roads. So somebody left the drain cover off. The drain cover ruined the Ferrari car. And basically that was the start to the weekend. They had to cancel the rest of the practice race.
Could you imagine being that person that forgot to put that drain cover back on?
Fired.
I mean, fired. I mean, like lifelong anxiety after that. Lifelong.
Yeah, but also then there was more problems because the second day when fans came to watch the practice session, fans are actually now starting a class action lawsuit against the Formula One because they were forced to leave before the event started, although they had paid for tickets. So now Las Vegas-based law firm is suing and filing a lawsuit for covering and seeking at least $30,000 in damages for fans being forced to leave before the second practice session started. But this also got me thinking. So not too long ago, we were actually talking about Vegas because they were having issues with the hotels and casinos being taken over by
out there.
The
Super Bowl's supposed to be out there.
Cyber hackers. Yeah, it's gonna be an issue. But so I just looked up a little update on that MGM casino hack that we talked about in the past. Mm-hmm. So it took 10 days for them to come to an agreement with the cyber attackers. They are supposedly operating normally again, although they may have some intermittent issues, they say. And so apparently what it was, there's a group known as the Scattered Spider, and they're supposedly the ones that was believed to be responsible for it. They specialize in social engineering, and they manipulate victims into performing actions by impersonating people or organizations that the victim has a relationship with. So they're supposedly especially good at phishing, not phishing. And so they specialize in like the phone call scams.
It's terrible.
And so a representative of this group said they stole and encrypted MGM's data and demanded a payment in crypto to release it. And so basically they did this for 10 days. MGM ended up working on an agreement with them. They got everything back, but it took 10 days to resolve in the end. So lots of things going on in Vegas, but that leads us to another fail that is in the works. So Fyre Fest, we talked about how Fyre Fest 2 is going to be coming back around.
And I can't believe that.
The founder, what's his first name?
Connor?
No. That's crazy. Like you're just saying like, oh gosh, what's his name? Billy McFarlane.
No way. I would have never guessed Billy.
I think I'm making shit up.
That's Connor.
Connor and Billy. No, it is Billy. He took a group of 75 of the first people to buy tickets for Fyre Fest 2 to an airfield in Orange County, New York, and sent them in private planes to experience weightlessness.
I don't understand the correlation of why.
That with Fyre Fest, I don't know either. I feel like it's just not a good look because that seems like a little bit scammy. Like, let's get you hooked. Let's show
like
you
provide
that this
little
is
prizes and stuff for like ticket buyers. I don't like it. I don't like something that doesn't have like a strategic tie-in or a rhyme or reason, and I just can't figure out the rhyme or reason other than like this feels like, you know, like the candy sales they have you do when you're a kid, and they're like, if you sell 20 candy boxes, you get a yo-yo.
MLM scam.
Well, what?
An MLM scam.
Yeah. Well, that's what this kind of seems like. And it's just like, oh, if you are one of the first couple people to buy tickets, or if you buy tickets now, you could be next in the waitlist plane. Like, why? Why do you want to go in this waitlist plane?
Yeah, what does that have to do with the
fest? It gives me
fest?
bad vibes. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it literally, I'm stupid. They did this, and now people are talking about it. We're talking about it right here. This is exactly what they wanted. We're playing into it.
Yeah.
Forget we said anything.
This never happened. You didn't see anything.
We might forget to hit record
what
again.
What is that from? Is that from SpongeBob?
Probably.
Okay, anyway, speaking of disasters, there's a couple more things just being weird. So a woman's car completely caught on fire. Everything roasted and toasted except her Stanley cup. And not only was it intact, it had ice inside the cup still.
And
so
it was on fire.
So safe to say, it will keep your drinks cold.
In case you didn't know, it was on fire.
It was on, yes, it was. And so, but what's even more wild about this? So 100 million people saw this TikTok, but then Stanley responded and said they are going to buy her a new car.
They said they might not do this again, so I think they were trying to encourage people to not light their car on fire with a Stanley in it, in hopes of getting a new car. So they did. No one tried that at home. Not a good idea.
I can't believe that was a thought that crossed people's minds.
I mean, they definitely were like, as a caveat, where they're like, this is the first time we've done something like this. We'll probably never do something like this again. And I feel like they had to say that. So people didn't get any bright ideas of like, oh,
I wouldn't call that a bright idea.
Crisp car.
That's wild. Well, their response also got 34 million views. So people are definitely seeing this. And I'm assuming that the reason that they're doing the buying her car is because 134 million views is worth a lot in marketing. And so they're saving themselves quite a buck actually by this situation.
Somebody said on TikTok that even if they bought her a Rolls Royce, they would still be saving money on advertisement just by the way the numbers break down, which is wild. But even the comments, they are getting such good PR from this. Everybody in the comments was saying, I don't own a Stanley, but I think I'm going to go buy one now. People saying that they will now be loyal to this brand because they are doing such a good deed. And people are serious. They're not joking.
I have to be honest. I am not into
the water bottle
like
phases.
What's it called on the inside? The insulation?
Aluminum?
No. I don't know what it's called. But
insulation?
Whatever that silver stuff is on the inside.
That's what saved her ice cubes.
I know, but I don't like the taste of
water when it comes out of there.
And for some reason, and I know this is true, and I don't care if people deny it, when you have a cup like that, the chances of you washing it regularly are slim to none.
That's why I have two.
I'm just saying.
I will use one for a week, which that's not a long time to use. Some people go months probably without washing it. I use one for a week, and then it goes in the dishwasher, and I use the other one. And then once that one has its week up, then you probably noticed because I have. So you
use it for a week though?
Yeah, I still use it for a week.
But what are the stats on that? I want someone to test a Stanley inside water after a week and see what's in there.
I mean, I am sloshing water around and dumping it out when I refill it.
What is that gonna do?
It's gonna do what it needs to do.
I don't know. Something about the metal Some people, makes me feel weird.
I've talked to multiple people where I'm like, oh yeah, I put mine in the dishwasher and it gets clean.
I don't think you're supposed to put them
once
in
a week.
Dishwasher.
No, they're dishwasher safe.
Oh.
They've gone in there quite a number of times, and people are like, oh, I've never even washed mine. And they've had it for a long time.
See, that's what scares me about it.
See, that's what I don't do. You got to be washing that thing or it's gross.
Yeah. I don't know. I use glass cups at home when I refill waters because I don't know. The glass makes me feel safe. And then I know I can put that safely in the dishwasher. I don't know.
I'm glad you feel safe.
Thank you. Okay. Also, just a little random fact, but we had to share. I just saw this on TikTok, and I at first saw the spoof of the situation of a girl being like, oh, we're Coldplay. If you want to watch our show, you better pedal for your lives. And I was very confused. I'm like, why is she doing this? I'm confused.
Because they have bikes at their shows.
And they do. Apparently, Coldplay is powering their concerts with bikes used by members of the audience. So in 2022, they announced that they plan to add kinetic dance floors and energy storing stationary bikes to their world tour to encourage fans to help power the show by dancing or spinning. They pledge to be sustainable and low carbon as possible, hoping to cut their CO2 emissions by 50%. So they literally have members of their audience running the power for their show by biking. Would you do this?
Okay, so if I was on the GA floor and there's bikes and you could hop on that bike to power the concert, if I had upwards of 3-4 drinks, I might jump on the bike for funsies, for shits and giggles,
but not for serious.
I don't think I'd be like, let's go.
Do you think people are showing up in full workout attire ready to power this show?
I think everybody that's getting on that bike, maybe not everybody, maybe I'm looking at the worst of the world, but I think everyone getting on those bikes is like, hee, there's a bike here, and then they're like, let's pedal to the metal.
But I guess my thing is what happens if people stop pedaling and do you still have power?
I think so. I think they have other
yeah.
I think it's just a way to help support.
Yeah.
I don't think it's probably power I think it's almost those pedal pubs. I know you know what a pedal pub is because we've gone on many together. You're not you're starting the engine to go, but once you get 2 pedals in, you are not fully powering that pedal. It has a motor, and the motor is moving the pedal pub.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on electric bikes?
They scare me. I've seen people get hit.
What? That could be any bike. I just
What do you mean? Like the electric scooters that they have laying around the streets?
No, like people, especially if you're like a long distance biker, some people will get like electric bikes that have motors. So when you're pedaling, it's easier.
I don't like that because I just feel like one wrong move and your whole leg is gone.
I have to be honest, I'm not that good at riding bikes. And especially when I have to turn the bike, I actually freak out and I slow down so much.
Yeah, I just feel like it's not a good idea.
I can't imagine like on an electric bike trying to make a turn.
No, but even those people are on like those, they're electric powered. They're like kind of like a skateboard, but there's one big wheel in the middle, and then there's two.
A hoverboard?
No, it's different than a hoverboard.
I have no idea.
We'll have to look into it later.
Remember when hoverboards became a thing?
Yeah, those were kind of nuts for a little while. I feel like they rose to power.
They rose to power.
And then they fizzled out pretty quickly. Like when we were in college, I feel like they were cool.
I feel like they were probably very unsafe.
Oh my gosh, they were so unsafe.
And then we have to talk about some random kind of like home decor related things because first of all,
what?
Bobby is leaving Queer Eye.
Did you say home decor?
Yeah.
Home decorations?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with Bobby leaving?
He's the one that does the home renovations.
I didn't know that. I don't watch Queer Eye.
Yeah, so basically, like, the running joke is that everybody else on the show has, like, a different job. So, like, each member of the Queer Eye cast has a different job. So, like, one redoes their, like, hair and makeup. One teaches them how to cook. One works on their social skills. One, or, like, whatever, like, therapy stuff. And Bobby's the one that does the home renovations or like space renovations.
They really do it up on that show.
Yes, I love it. And
I've never watched it.
Leaving.
Really should.
So when it first came out, I was definitely more like I watched it way more regularly. Like I would watch every season. Then I kind of stopped after a while, but my favorite part, which makes sense for me because I
love home decor.
I have HGTV on all day every day. My favorite part was always Bobby's part because he would redo the space and like you got to kind of watch the process. But yeah, he's leaving after 8 seasons.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I saw people online saying, because I was trying to look into it, but since I didn't watch the show, it was like hard for me to like
understand the
full scope of the situation. Yeah. And all of the comments I was seeing said, well, Bobby did have the hardest job. Like Bobby's job was definitely the toughest out of everyone's. And that didn't make sense to me. I'm like, what do you mean his job was toughest? I wasn't able to put 2 and 2 together because I was missing a 2.
Somebody commented on one of them and was like, I remember the episode where Bobby built an entire house and the other guy like bought a chicken like for them to cook or whatever. And it was just like, damn.
Yeah, just like 2 extremes.
Yeah. But I was thinking, because this next thing is kind of interworked, maybe he can go do something with Chip and Joanna from HGTV because
one can dream.
First of all, I didn't know this, but they have a whole network of their own.
They do.
Magnolia Network, where they have a bunch of different shows and like a whole just thing. They have their show, the original Fixer Upper, all the seasons are on there. They have a bunch of spinoffs that they've created. I think the show about her cooking and stuff is on there. But anyways, this is new to their network. They are doing Fixer Upper Hotel. It just came out.
It's going to be the cutest hotel in the world.
It's open.
Oh, it's open already?
It's open, yes. It's in Waco, Texas. There's 33 rooms. I know, I already looked it up. It's called Hotel 1928 because that was when the original building was built that they renovated. And it's premiering on Magnolia Network. So maybe Bobby can go to Magnolia Network and do something there. My aspiration in life is to be like Joanna.
Oh my gosh, that's cute.
I just love everything she does.
I also love everything she does. I do not have the talent or the eye for design, but you definitely have the eye for design.
I didn't realize how many businesses they have, but Waco, Texas is like basically all of their businesses.
I feel like they're the king and queen of Waco, Texas.
Yes, they have like restaurants, bakeries, houses. They do Airbnb
They
there.
do events at this hotel, and it looks nice.
Yes.
I'm on their website right now, and it is stunning.
Yes, I definitely...
Thehotel1982.com.
1928.
Shit, I can't read.
But yeah, so anyways, I thought that was cute and also reminded me because Bobby's leaving, so maybe he can go there.
I mean, look at that rooftop.
I know. It's adorable.
I want to go. I did say, because we did have a layover in Texas. I've never been to Texas. I would love to go. I just feel like they got a lot of cute stuff there.
But Texas is huge, so you have to like really pinpoint where you want to go.
I want to go there.
Well, then there you go. But we talked about so much this episode. Let's wrap it up. Let's get to these shady stories. There's only 2, but they're pretty long. So let's get into shady story number 1. So my boyfriend and I have been together for almost 9 years. We decided to go on our first trip together alone without any of our kids. We have always put our kids first, and this was our first. We went on a cruise. So throughout the whole trip, we had absolutely no problems. Everything was great. The only problem I had was being hungover, waiting in hot weather at the port. But that's on me, and it was my birthday. But anyways, on our last day of the ship, I decided to lay out by the adult-only pool in the back of the ship. My boyfriend didn't go with me because he just wanted to chill in the room. So I get to the pool, and it's packed. To be expected. And so I sat my stuff just at a table nearby and sat in the pool and just kind of watched for a chair to be open. Mind you, this is at like 10 a.m. in the morning. For anyone that doesn't know, on cruises, you're only really allowed 15 alcoholic drinks per day. Yeah, I had started drinking too in the morning, but cruise drinks on the ship, they do not make them strong at all. So I saw some chairs open up and I was like, sweet. I grabbed one and sat down and laid out reading a book. Then I started to get hungry and was like, I'm going to go get some pizza, get my sandals on, and left my bag at the chair. When I come back, I literally took off my sandals and about to put it down, and the girl was sitting in the chair before I used it, came back looking for her shoes. I start helping her a little, and she goes, oh, there they are, my sandals. And I was like, no, those are mine. She grabbed them and tried to walk away. At the same time, her husband comes over. We're both already shit-faced by 11 a.m., hard to do on a ship, and I was like, hey, those are mine. Mind you, I'm 5'9", and she was way shorter than me. I wear size 11 sandals. I can't imagine she wears that size. And she comes back, and I take them from her, and her husband goes, thanks for stealing my wife's shoes, bitch. I was very taken back, considering everything in my trip had been completely fine and relaxing. It made a scene, and everyone around me was like, that was completely uncalled for. I said to her, what size shoe do you wear? Because mine are 11s. She didn't respond, and they walked away. Needless to say, I'm so glad I stood up for myself because walking around on a cruise ship deck in August is something no one should have to do. What?
Probably shoeless.
Oh, shoeless. Okay.
Yes.
Wow, this seems very reminiscent
She
of
made a
our
comment
last
that
episode.
It was the chair inspired this story.
Yes. So
People on vacation are just...
I think it's maybe just the alcohol.
It's got to be a little bit of that.
Kind of funny though, like on a cruise you're only allowed... I've never been on a cruise.
It's the drink packages are interesting. I went on a cruise once when I was, I believe, like I had just turned 21, and my mom and I had gotten the drink packages, but you could only get... There was just a lot of rules around it. Like you could only get one drink per hour. So like if you got one during like, say it was 10 a.m. and you got it at like 10:05, you wouldn't be able to get your next one until 11:05 because they would track your packaging, which just seemed really like a lot to have to deal with.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my cup of tea. I also got seasick on the cruise, so
I feel like that's probably not that common. Don't they move very
seasick?
slowly?
Yes, and I kept staring at like either the water or the horizon, which you're not supposed to do. But because people told me I wasn't supposed to do that, I just kept doing it on accident. But I do have a kind of sensitive stomach. But it's interesting because I was younger then, and my car sickness and motion sickness has gotten a lot worse over time.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All I've seen about cruises is, I mean, as an adult, is on TikTok, people showing you how to open your wine and fill it with liquor because on most cruises you're allowed to bring, I think, 2 bottles of wine or something, and I don't know, it has to be wine. Like, you're not allowed to bring hard liquor. So people like show you how to sneak liquor into a cruise.
Or you could put it in your Listerine bottle.
And
I didn't say it.
that's all I've heard about cruises. But yeah, I've never been. But this lady seems similar to some
people
we had to deal
we've
with.
met in our lifetime.
So I would say for that, very relatable. 10 out of 10.
We love relatability. And shady story number 2, final shady story of the week. It ran away from me.
I just moved it to one page so it's easier to read.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Shady story number 2. I don't know if you do holiday shady stories, but here's mine. My mom is a terrible gift giver. No matter how specific I get, showing pictures, sending links, etc., it's always wrong. Wrong size, wrong color, even the item. She asks for lists and she just doesn't get things right. She shops for so many family members that she forgets all the stuff that she buys, and she starts shopping in September, and my dad gets credit card statements and pays them with no questions asked. So around October, November, I started snooping. I would find my presents, and of course, they are not the right items, so I would go and exchange them for the right ones and put them back where she hides them. A few years ago, I would wait for her to fall asleep, take her credit card, and online shop for the things I wanted. I'd have them shipped to my friend's house, and then I would put the items with the items that I bought with the items she bought in a hiding spot. My dad never questioned any of the purchases, and my mom would never question it either. I can't imagine what she must have been thinking when she went to go wrap the presents. Those years, my presents were amazing, and everyone would be so bummed that my presents were great and theirs were just okay. I don't know, or I don't think I'll ever tell the truth, but last year I had a feeling my dad was on to me, so I'm going to make sure he gets an awesome present as well this year.
Oh
so she's not stopping. She's just going to add in some presents for the dad, too.
That's wild. I can't imagine not knowing or noticing.
Yeah, like there was just other presents. I mean, maybe she thinks the dad's picking them out and putting them there, but you would think there'd be a conversation like, I don't remember buying this. Did you buy it?
Yeah, I would definitely be confused. I would notice.
And this girl's got some guts to be just taking the credit card, ordering them to the gifts to friends' houses. Even the like swapping the gifts out. I'm like, that's gutsy.
I have never been the kind of person, if I get something that I don't like,
I love it.
I love it.
Same.
And I will never blink twice about it.
No,
and I
same.
will just keep it for as long as I feel necessary. To keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will donate it.
I know.
And that's just how it goes. But I can't imagine being somebody who is vocal about not liking something, or even exchanging things. I feel guilty sometimes. So I just keep it because I'm like, I would rather not feel guilty about it.
I know. Yeah, I feel like people, when they get you gifts, they're so excited to give you the gift.
But there are people that just get stuff to get stuff.
Yeah.
And you can tell. And then you're just like, oh, I just wish you would have saved your money and not gotten stuff. Because then it's just like,
it doesn't feel like you can. Yeah.
No,
I know what you
have
mean. Stuff. Yeah. There's definitely a difference between people that give a gift because they're so excited to give it to you and they really thought about you, versus
they just had to check you off the list.
Yeah, had to check you off the list, so they just like found this thing, or they had it in like their gift pile.
Yeah. Or like regifting stuff that they already had.
Yeah, the regifters. But I did like that this was a holiday specific story.
So, with that being said, if you have some shady stories around the holidays, and or even
birthday stories, because it's our birthday month too.
True. But I have faith that the holidays bring out a lot of shadiness
Oh, yeah. They bring out the best and the worst in people.
So let's get those stories. Please write them in. We would love to share them anonymously, of course. Keep writing them in.
We won't share your information.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Make sure you check out the Patreon if you want a sneak peek of the merch before we release it. Lots of good Christmas stuff, holiday items. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.